Welcome to Live at the Blue Box. Look, we got official now. Welcome to Live at the Blue Box. This is now Input Junkie Satellite. This is where we do interviews and talk about real specific things. We do these things called microcons, where we have like little mini, tiny Comic Cons, and we talk to artists and writers. And our timing hasn't quite lined up to have you three out for that. So then we said we're doing this, and you guys were like, we'll come out that day. So that's how this happened.
Yes.
First of all, I want you to introduce yourselves, talk into your mics, and make sure they're on in case somebody was weird and turned them off. And let me just start the timer. Go ahead, guys.
Hello. Okay, yeah, mine's is on.
Okay.
Hi, my name is Celina Barajas.
And in the middle?
And Sarah Satrun.
Is that one on? I don't think I heard it. Up at the top? There we go.
Kelvin Satrun.
Yes. Oh, I will show this. And this is, are we raffling?
Yes.
These will be raffled off. Okay. So I'm going to show it on camera, though, before we get started. These are the next raffle items that we're doing. Now, the company, before I do that, the company is called the Satrun Twins? Or the company is just the three of you? Do you have a name for? I'm confused.
It's called Friends.
Friends. Well, because here's the deal. We know you guys from the Comic Cons. We always talk to you, and it would say, the first time I met you, it was the Satrun. Did it say twins or sisters?
Twins.
Twins. And then the next time, I'm like, there's a third one that doesn't quite look like the other two. One of these things is not like the other.
I'm adopted.
You're adopted. And I'm like, wait a minute. So I wasn't sure, but it's just, you guys just work together, and you have similar kind of art styles in that too, which is cool.
Animators, yeah.
Yeah, you're animators. So these are examples of work. If you can see that. I don't know if, can somebody assist and bring it closer to the camera there? And these are prints that we are raffling off. There's one. Oh, they're just so awesome. And for you Doctor Who fans, check this one out. $7,000 that one's going for. All right, let's. So we will be raffling that stuff off. But now, when I first met you guys, because I met you guys first,
Yes.
before I introduced you to Martha, and I became irrelevant in the conversation. I'm walking by. 2 weeks before that, somebody had put a picture, and we ended up putting it on all of our stuff, of Wonder Women.
Yes.
And I saw your Wonder Woman print up, and I went, hey, we have that all over our website. And we started talking, and I just thought you guys were awesome. And I love your artwork, and it was just like, this is great. Is that something you guys are kind of known for?
That's,
That was the very first time we started doing conventions and selling art, is when we had that print.
Okay.
Actually, we made it the week of that convention. And
Oh, you're kidding! So like the week we put it up was when it first hit.
We
finished it like I think that Monday or Tuesday
we
night.
finished it that Monday or
After
Tuesday
1
night after like 1 a.m. It was an idea we had for several months, and we just never had the time to do it. So we just made that one, and that's the most well-known piece of ours. But more people have recognized our other artwork circulating around online.
That was the start, though.
Yeah,
But that was the start.
The first night at C2E2 was like over 900 shares on Facebook. By the time I got home, we're like, what?
Yeah. But we didn't know what was happening during that weekend.
I was
because we were
letting you know.
offline.
That's so crazy, because I'm telling you, it was like a week before. Whenever it first hit,
It was right there.
it hit our thing, and we started like sending it out. We're like, this is so great, because what the print is it's a bunch of women, different body types, different everything.
Different ethnicities also,
Yeah, ethnicities, and it just says Wonder Woman, and it's wonderful.
Yeah.
It says we are all Wonder Woman, to be like all empowering for all of us and our friends, and just kind of a piece to uplift people.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. And since then, we've got your art adorning Molly's room, and
Yeah.
it's just all great. So, okay. Animators. That's where you guys come from. Is this
Yes.
correct?
Yeah, we met each other, or we met Celina at the studio that we all
Calabash
freelanced at.
Animation Studio.
So we met her there and instantly became like really good friends.
Yeah, I couldn't tell
Yeah.
that you guys liked each other a little bit. Okay, so Calabash, that's where you started. Was that a Chicago-based animation studio?
Chicago-based.
It's still there. Like we still freelance with
Yeah.
them.
You
That's
freelance
our-
for them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
They're known for, they've worked on for a long time the Lucky Charms cereal commercials, the Trix cereal and yogurt commercials.
Okay.
there was a MasterCard Icons commercial that aired the 2005 Super Bowl. So it had like all the iconic characters from different brands. Like there was a Morton Salt Girl, Count Chocula. I don't know.
Oh, I remember
I'm
that.
a football fan, so I watched the Super Bowl, so I know. Yeah, but for others who might not have watched the Super Bowl,
So that was
yeah.
Calabash.
Yes, that was
And
Calabash.
they're a really great studio. It's a great Chicago studio.
Yeah.
We've
No,
also,
yeah.
We've also done My Little Pony toy commercials. So
Uh-oh.
Through them. Yeah.
Does Molly
Through
know
them.
this?
through them. So yeah.
I know she bought a My Little Pony print because it's
Yeah.
up in her room, but you know
So,
she's a
yeah.
little fixated.
But it's a really great studio. It's our favorite company to work with, freelance for.
It's a great company to work for. So
Now,
yeah.
as animators, do you work? There's so many different ways you can do it, so many different aspects to art. I know that when I look at this, I can. Well, what's your medium? And when you're animators, are you doing ink and paint? Are you the background people? What are you doing?
Well, we all started off as on paper, so we all learned like the traditional old school Disney, like on paper, drawing on paper and flipping, animation paper, all that. And then we've all moved digital over the past several years. So now we all do that. But
Is
mainly
this
it's just
digital?
Yeah, so that's digital.
Okay.
It's in
Hand-drawn
Photoshop.
digitally though, yeah.
Yeah, I like
Okay.
hand-drawn. We have Cintiqs now, so we're all just draw directly into the computer. So we still do some sketches on paper every now and then, but basically everything's digital now. And yeah, like for animation, like we all work on like characters, and like it depends what studio, because we work at, we're freelancers, so we work with lots of different studios, but we always like work on the character stuff. We don't do, we never got into like background art, so we don't do that. We work on the character animation.
Yeah.
Sure.
Like I do more. I've done the cleanup animation, like final lining, shadow animation. I have helped digitally ink and paint because those commercials were digitally inked and painted. Like long time ago, it was hand painted cells, but that was a very long time ago.
That's a long time ago. Yeah, it's all kind of changed. Well, that's just the thing. I'm a big animation guy. I'm big on that whole thing. I read The Art of Animation. I can't think who wrote that book, but it's
I
like
got the book, yeah.
You know what I'm talking
Yes,
about? Like
yeah.
everybody has it. It was written 800 years ago. Like right after Gertie the Dinosaur was made, this book was written. I have no reason to write it. I'm not a animator, but I'm just into that. I have trouble telling what the medium is now.
Oh, yeah.
That's why I had to ask. I assumed it was a mix, but it's gotten really interesting. Do you prefer working digitally, or do you find that, like, commercially I like to work the digital medium, but at home I sit with my sketch pad?
Okay, now we're all spoiled by digital because of
so-
the editing.
For the hands, health wise, digitally is better.
Okay.
Like,
Oh,
I've had
good
tendinitis.
point.
I've had
Yeah.
tendinitis. She had tendinitis.
Mine
We've had-
was over. Just
Yeah,
one.
well, I had
a
a
couple days.
special wrist guard made for me to wear for 2 weeks straight. I had to wear it 24
You had
hours.
that at something we saw you
Yes,
at.
I did.
I
Yeah.
remember you having that on.
Because just I would wake up in the morning and like there'd be this like just
Yeah.
right here pain. So I haven't had that since we moved digitally. So
Okay. You were going to say something.
No, yeah. I was gonna say, digital. I feel like my process is a bit faster, and I'm not wasting paper. Like in sketchbooks, I feel like I'm just throwing
Running through paper,
Yeah,
sure.
I'm killing trees.
we're supposed to be we're supposed to be
A
saving
lot of
trees. So yeah.
Okay.
So we do prefer digital, but then I like to take textures. Like I'll scan in different pieces of paper.
Yeah.
Like handmade papers too and stuff like that. And you scan it in, and I like to use it as
like
a
a
base.
texture.
Like sometimes like we'll add a texture to something. So I think like
Ooh, that's a good one.
This print here has texture on it.
Yeah.
So
You
I
can't
like
see it
to
at
have-
home.
I like
but
It's a dark print.
It's
yeah.
subtle and it's a dark print, so it's hard to tell. But I like a little bit of that tactile feel, even though it's digital. I like a little
once
bit of that warmth
again,
and
I think that's why it's
hand-drawn
harder
look.
to tell when it's
Yeah.
hand drawn. I look at that and I'm
Yeah.
like, I didn't assume canvas, even though it has that canvas effect to it.
And also
but it doesn't look digital to
Yeah,
me.
because of the brushes. Like we don't want to, you don't just use a plain like solid brush. Like
Yeah.
we like to use the charcoal chalk brushes, something that has a texture and some life to it, because that's what we loved about like traditional stuff, is that there's so much life into like hand-drawn materials. So
Right.
now in the computer it's like, oh, I don't want it to look dead, you
Yeah.
still want to have some little
Now, here's a
artistic
question
texture
about
in
that.
it.
With the animation that you're... Okay, let's go with
Okay.
commercial animation, okay? You're drawing Lucky Charms, okay?
Yes.
We mentioned Lucky Charms. You're drawing Lucky. The way hand-drawn works is we've got the cell of Lucky, and we do all this, and we've got a background that could be literally anything, and we move the thing across the front of it. Does digital animation work the same way? Are you establishing a background, and then you digitally create the image on top of it to give it kind of that effect? Or is it... is it something different that I'm not figuring out?
It's all the same concept. We're
Yeah.
just drawing on the computer, and then now we have like puppet parts, so we draw everything. But when the character moves and they turn to different poses or the hand changes around, we have to draw every hand. But once you draw it once, you have it. And you'll in between it too sometimes, depending on what the budget is per.
So you can
commercial.
keep pulling from those
So
same drawings, whereas
so you
with
work
hand
faster.
drawn, it gets a little tougher to do that.
So you
And
are
it
working
depends on the
faster.
project. If it depends on the project in the studio and who you're working for, what they give you. If they have like a really well puppeted character, it's like you're doing less drawings because they have a ton of hand replacements and mouth replacements and stuff like that. So then you can work a little faster, but you're still trying to make it look more fluid and fleshed out. You're still doing some breakdown drawings when you need to make it more animated,
Interesting.
more full.
Now, everything we've talked about so far has really been commercial type work.
For Chicago, that's all that's available. Like for those of us who don't want to leave, because we have friends
That's what's
that are in
available.
California. We have friends that are in New York, working for Blue Sky. A friend of mine's been with Cartoon Network Studios for a long time. He left Columbia, didn't even have to finish. So the options here are very, very few. People usually they leave if you want to work full time in animation.
Sure.
Which is still hard in itself because a lot of stuff's getting outsourced.
Right.
So that was our option. There's some computer animation gigs, but again, it's commercial work. There's no feature film. I've never known a feature film to be done here in animation.
And that goes to my question. Not even feature film, but indie film, whatever it is, small, short film. Do you guys have aspirations to break into that? Do you have your own things you would like to do with that? Or is it like, no, we just like to work in the medium and we like to keep going forward? Because there are different types of animals in every type of job.
Yeah.
Like for us with podcasting, we do these shows, but our real heart is actually in creating original content.
Yeah.
So even though we have all these, we are working towards original content every minute. So but I understand the people that aren't thinking, like they go, no, I love doing this type of podcast. For you guys, and this is an individual question.
Okay.
You may be twins, triplets, but you are individuals. Start with you.
Oh, me.
What do you think? Do you want to break into that type of thing, or is it like I really like where we're at and what we're doing?
I do like what we're doing, but from like working with the knowing the schedules and the long hours, long days, for like working on like say if you had your own like TV idea or feature film, whatever. That's just working on those projects with people is so like
That's your
monumental.
so many
Yeah.
hours, and I would rather step away from that and maybe focus on like a comic or something more independent that you're just working with yourself on. Like
That brings up another question when we get to it.
No, that's something we've all talked
Yeah.
about. Like we kind of want to work on our own illustration work and maybe try to like work on our own comics sometime when we have the time to invest onto that. But in terms of like animation, like going from commercial animation is like our job, but I don't know if like we could do our own short together sometime. I would be happy with that, but I wouldn't want to go to LA and try to do the whole like work in.
Yeah,
the
like I'm
industry
breaking
out
into
there.
Pixar or Blue Sky
No,
or
it's not really my
that's not your
aspiration
thing.
right now. No.
Yeah. What do you think? Same thing?
Yeah, same what she said. I would like to do more like just our own short films and comics, like little tiny mini comics and things like
Short
that.
films, webisode type
Yeah,
stuff.
just independent stuff.
But okay, I've got another question to attach to that. Go ahead.
For me, it's all about I just never want to leave Chicago, so that's what it is. So
The
it's
motivation
whatever-
is that.
Yeah, my main thing is loving where I live.
Superdog
at
is
first.
quite the draw. I
Yeah.
understand.
I want to love where I live at first, and then I mean, of course, I would have loved for a feature, some studio to come here and have a feature film done, but
That'd be awesome.
it's not. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm indicating the iPad. Martha, can you have them look at the iPad? Has a thing on it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I couldn't get our
It's
video
fine.
guys'
I know, it's like,
attention.
oh, it looks
Sorry,
blurry.
sorry,
Yeah.
Selena.
No,
What
no,
were you?
it's fine.
So Chicago was it.
Chicago's it.
Keeps
Whatever's
you here.
yeah. But of course, and we've been in, not that we've been in the industry for such a long time, we haven't been in for decades, but long enough where we've seen how hard it is to go into doing a short film or a feature film, working on other stuff, that, yeah, it is nice working on your own personal projects.
Your own control.
Yes,
Yes.
We're just the hired hand. So
Right,
don't
right now
have
you're
any
the hired
creative-
hand.
You don't have any creative input.
Yes.
You're
Oh,
just
that was a good way to
doing-
put it, yeah.
You're hitting quotas and
Yeah.
you're hitting.
Well, it seems like your
hours
creative
and
input
quotas.
is creating prints and things
Yeah.
and the stuff you're doing at
Yeah.
Comic
Yeah,
Cons.
this is our side.
Okay, so that brings us to the other question, and I have a parentheses around S. Oh yeah, good. We'll get to audience
Yeah,
questions. And there's another notification on the screen there
on
if somebody could
sideways,
look at
yeah.
that. Okay, so you mentioned comics, you mentioned short films and web things. This is a two-part question. First of all, do you have original scripts that you have written or storyboards that you are looking to create as a webisode, as a short film, or as a comic?
I just have like concepts.
Concept,
maybe
like-
with some ideas, but not an actual
Nothing fleshed
script.
out. Okay.
Yeah. But I
What about
listen
you
here.
guys? Somebody over there has something, I can tell.
Well, like I don't like to talk too much about it, but
You
yeah,
don't
I
have
mean,
to tell
we-
what it is.
Yeah, I mean, we're working on a short film, but on and off, it's like we might work on it just for a few weeks out of the year, kind of thing.
Sure.
'cause we have to pay our bills, and when we're in between studio jobs, we need to we're doing commissions and other stuff. So we do work on and off on like a short film we started in college.
Okay,
It's
so
just
you
like
have a
preschool-
script, you've written something, and you're slowly working on
Yeah,
something.
it's like probably 3/4 the way done.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, but I mean, we don't have time to, we need to pay the bills.
Did
so
you
it's kind
find a script, or did you guys write it?
Oh, we wrote it in college. We just
Okay.
we came up with the idea during the summer. And then one of the classes at Columbia College was when you're just producing your own shorts, or you just work. You didn't have to finish the whole thing. It was
Okay.
just about the process of like creating, like going through the steps to make a short.
Yeah.
So the two of us teamed up and we just started one. It was cute, and people keep asking us about it, and it's adorable. But
I'm
I've
not going
asked
to
them.
ask.
I've asked
You
them.
ask him. I know she's the
I've
one
seen
asking.
it, but I'm like, I have to.
but our skill level has changed through the course of the
That's why
Sure.
it's setting
And then you end
aside
up going
and
back,
it-
and it becomes episode 4,
and it's just like,
retouched.
I think we only have 1 minute of animation
We have-
left in it, and just some
Wow.
background art, and then it's pretty much done. It's just a matter of we need to save up enough money so where we have time to not take on other jobs and commissions and just focus
Right.
on our own stuff for maybe a
To be
few
able to
months.
finish that one off.
It's extremely hard to find the time.
Is the intention with it to do short like film festivals or release on the web,
just like
or
creating it. I think.
or do you not know?
I think film festivals is nice, but you need to submit.
There's a
you have
lot
to
of work
pay.
that goes into it. Also.
You have to
Yeah.
pay to submit into
Yeah.
festivals.
And
I
that's
don't.
old
We
piece. I
don't.
would rather wait and do a new
Yeah.
film fest.
Oh, you don't. Oh, yeah.
Well,
So I mean, with that's like that's an old piece. I don't know if we'd submit it to film festivals, but it would be probably released like online, where more people could watch it. And it's more for that one specifically is intended for little kids. It's a cute little,
Sure.
I don't know, preschool. Like it's a young, cute thing. It's just.
So it's not
cute.
Fritz
just
the cat.
cute.
You're not redoing
No,
that or
no,
anything.
It's just a cute little thing. So if it was in film festivals, I don't know as many kids would see it.
Right.
Where,
The Chicago Kids Film Festival.
Yeah, there's the
yeah,
Chicago
I know,
Kids
I
Film
know,
Festival.
there's
Isn't it
the
Facets
one.
that does that, or Fawcett's, however you say
I
it?
don't remember.
They
Yes.
they have a kids
Yes,
film
media,
festival
yeah.
that's really good.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, kids fringe festivals. Yeah, so there are ways that your work could be seen. Yeah,
Yeah.
anything that we're involved in, because we'll take it. All right, so audience, you said you had a question. All right, let's hear it. Do you make your own jewelry?
I
Is the
feel
question.
bad. I have like 3
yeah.
necklaces that they've made. I just didn't even think about wearing them, but yeah.
So I have a TARDIS necklace right here, and I actually bought these earrings from another artist at a convention. So I haven't done earrings, but I've made the pendant necklaces. Yeah, we do.
Oh, their Etsy shop.
Yes.
Oh, they have an
we're-
Etsy
we're on
shop. Yes,
Etsy.
plug it.
We're on Etsy. It's the what's their name?
The Satrun Twins.
Satrun Twins. no. What's the name of the email?
Satrun Twins
website.
shop,
If you look
yeah.
up Satrun
Just
Twins
look up
on
Satrun
Etsy.
Twins.
Yeah.
I think it's
Etsy.
run together. I think it's Satrun Twins, all one word,
Yeah.
but yeah.
Yeah, I actually
look it up,
found it. I was
we'll tag
looking at the Etsy shop, and I think
Yeah.
it's the Satrun
I think it's
Twins
the Satrun Twins.
Yeah.
under Etsy. But if
Yes.
you type in Google Satrun Twins,
Oh, we come up.
Exactly.
but if you
comes up.
type in
Yeah.
Satrun Sisters, it doesn't come up.
Yeah,
No.
it's the Satrun Twins, and
Satrun
also our
Twins.
website is Sketchy Duo.
Oh.
That's fine. That's a good
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they are
Well, they
sisters,
are.
but the Etsy shop, it says twins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can also find it from our website, it's Sketchy Duo at
Sketchy Duo.
Yeah. SketchyDuo.com.
Excellent. Good question. What'd you have there?
Did you discuss the project you've been working on? Are you allowed to, like, you've shown little clips of that project that you did all leading up to summer?
Do you mean they've got a project that they're...
Oh, that was like our commercial work, though. That was
the
work.
commercial they're
Yeah,
working
so,
on. Okay.
Well, okay, let's see.
Once it
we did
airs, then
two-
yes, we're allowed to talk about it.
Okay, but not yet.
Well, I mean, I can say what it was. Oh, okay, I
Yeah.
don't know which project because we were doing two things. But no, but
When you showed it on Facebook, put it on Facebook, and you were like, this is a little bit of what we've been working
If you showed it on Facebook, you can probably mention it.
Yeah.
It was, I think it was a kids thing.
Well, there was we didn't post anything on Facebook
Yeah, it
about
might have been
the
a
other stuff.
commission
The
thing.
only thing I think we posted on Facebook animation wise was a concert, the Selkie concert. Is that what you're talking about?
That's what she's probably talking about.
Linda Marie Smith. She did a concert, and it was all about the Celtic tale of the Selkie. And we
Oh,
did-
yeah, that I saw
That's
that.
the one you're
That-
talking about.
Yeah.
Yes, because we didn't post other stuff. Oh yeah.
They
Oh,
they
yeah,
should
definitely.
share because they put in like what over a year's
I
worth
don't know.
of
By
work.
the time we met
Yeah.
her to getting
Yeah.
it done, it was a while.
It was on and off work with that,
Yeah.
but yeah, that was like it was a nice artsy project to do. So it was just like moving illustrations. So I mean, yeah, it depends if you want to call it animation, you know. So it's like like low budget animation, but like pretty moving imagery.
Yeah.
Is for
Under the
a
water.
concert. So we were doing like the musicians when her CD released, she wanted to travel around and do her concerts, and they wanted some imagery behind them.
Sure.
So we were connected through mutual friends and. Just totally we all got along really well. So she was fantastic to work with, and we were
I
on
find
the
that
same
hard to believe. You
wavelength.
guys are so tough to talk to.
Yeah, but
It was all like we just did all the imagery that was behind them through an hour-length concert, and we did all these illustrations, and then we just kind of like moved it around and made it kind of like this nice, slow, graceful feeling to match the music.
Cool.
yeah, so that's her website. I think it's just lindamariesmith.com.
LindaMarieSmith.com. Okay.
Very beautiful.
Audience, other questions? Anybody? Anything? That's okay. We've sat here and not had any questions during the Comic-Con, and then afterwards you get mobbed in the hallway. Uh-oh.
Because Jim is a writer.
Oh.
And I said, would you want to write him and write a short for
Oh yeah.
Yes, definitely.
Produced by Southgate Media Group, and we have musicians we could add to that. We have a whole production company. Blue Sky 2 right now is opening up with the Satrun triplets. Yeah.
Yes.
And other. Is that what you should put that on your stuff?
There's one
We did
convention we
plus
went to
one.
where it was set
Plus
one.
one.
Yeah.
I like that.
We had a name for our whole table, and
Yeah.
we were like, it would be too long to just write all
Yeah.
the names out.
Did you guys, you mentioned Columbia. Did all three of you go to Columbia?
Yes. College downtown, yeah.
We missed each other by maybe a semester.
Oh.
I was there from 1999 and I graduated 2002, and then
And I saw we were there for your APS screening. I saw the Ant film that you guys worked
Yes.
on. So
Interesting.
we just missed each
Yeah.
other, so we didn't meet each other until we
It was
were
not
working at the same
held
studio
back,
on a
yeah.
project together.
So this is a little different question, but as three that went through the Columbia program, for aspiring artists, animators, is that a program that is a good program, or would you go, you know what, the Dave School is the way to go? Or,
We all wanted to go.
I mean, I don't need you to bash it or anything, but
no,
do
I
you
positively
think that is a good way to go?
It's good to work for college. It's good to work where you want to, like go to school where you want to work. Like I actually, at first, we always wanted to go to Cal Arts because it's like the
Cal Arts,
that's
yeah,
like
of course.
the place to
That's
go
where
to.
Disney gets
There's
all their
no
animators
way
from.
Yeah.
we could afford to go there.
Sure.
So and at that point we were
So
we just
Columbia
we were ready
was.
to travel, like just go move to California, So
Put a
we didn't-
rocking chair on top of the car, move to Beverly. Yeah, I know
Oh
how
my
that
gosh,
story
no.
goes.
So that's why we went to Columbia College, which is perfect because we want to stay in Chicago. Like, we said we all really love Chicago so much, we want to stay with our families here, and it's a fantastic city. So it's good to go to a school that's, you get all the connections, but Columbia College and DePaul now, they're getting a really good
Yes.
animation program.
Oh, really?
And-
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So,
But also for if someone's budget conscious, because we all know how much college costs. I actually switched from biology to animation, so my college.
There's a
course no
direct line
longer.
between the two. I see
Yes,
that.
yeah. But there's now great online programs that actually are helpful. One of our friends who
Wait, for
was-
art?
for animation,
for
yeah.
animation.
Really?
Yes.
Which it came out right after we graduated.
Yes,
We're like,
yeah.
oh.
Good timing.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But animationmentor.com.
Yes, I
is
was going to mention that.
fantastic.
Animationmentor.com. Now, is that a free on? Do they offer
No.
free
Oh, no.
online?
Expensive.
No,
Well, because there are
yeah.
things that
Yeah.
offer some free classes that are actually exceptional. You're not getting a degree. It's not getting you a
Yeah.
job.
Yeah.
But if you're somebody who's exploring I wondered if,
You know,
if you've
we
run
do
into any of those.
Yes, I think Animation Mentor's a really good one. A friend of mine who he went to Columbia, they know him as well. He graduated traditional animation, and then he went, instead of just going back to college, he went through animationmentor.com, and there was in the industry, people from the industry teaching classes, advising him.
And
so
good
he's
connections
been
that
he's
way.
been
Very
working
good,
for Blue
yeah.
Sky
Yeah.
Studios for quite a while now.
Wow,
Yeah,
so that was an entree
No,
to
it's
Blue
really
Sky.
good.
Oh,
Well,
boy.
He
Yeah.
worked through several other studios.
Yeah, he worked
to
for
get
other
there.
studios, but
Yeah.
I mean, he worked on other feature films to get to that studio.
Yeah.
so-
Sure.
But I mean, going to an actual school like Columbia College, that teaches you teamwork.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Which,
Yeah.
when you do those online classes, animation is such a team effort.
Yeah.
If you're sitting at home working on your own stuff, like you're not prepared to go out into the job
Work with
field
other people.
when you're working in the studio system, the pipeline system, everything.
Yeah.
Whereas Columbia College and other colleges as well, they make you work in teams on films, and you have
Which
to
for
do
animation
teamwork.
is
You need
super
to-
important.
Is
Yeah.
extremely important.
That
So
was,
you
like,
could
the
be an
best.
extremely talented artist, but you have to be able to follow directions, get along with others, communicate well. There's a lot of skills that
Take
you pick
feedback.
up when you go to school, and especially in the town that you want to stay in, and
Sure.
you form lifelong friendships with people and everything. So I think that's pretty important.
I would assume that you would develop, especially in art, you develop your own language with each other, so that you can communicate, which is why it's so important to go to a school like that and know what like the Chicago lingo kind of is.
Yeah.
I'm sure that it's similar everywhere, but there's certain ways that you communicate with each other that are going to be different. And I know that from business. I know that from what we do.
Yeah.
Even talking to other podcasters, it's like sometimes I feel like we're talking a different language because our backgrounds are so different and how we view it. So I totally get that.
Yeah.
Okay. I got two more questions. First of all, I know what I want to do first. You mentioned the comic book. You guys want to do comic books?
Like little short.
Like
ones.
short-
kind
mini
of getting
ones.
into it.
Like
and seeing
zines,
how-
sort of?
Just kind of.
Ooh, like zines, Martha. They want to do like zines. Martha and I come from zines. Last week we had like David Gruba. Do you guys know him? He goes okay. David
Yeah.
was here and we talked all about zines. He and Renee came from zines and all that. We're big fans of that. So after this, maybe we need to talk a little bit. So that kind of a thing, like short, I get that. That's cool. That kind of thing can lead to other things.
Right,
A friend of mine that I went to high school with does King Cat comics. I don't know if you ever heard of this.
No, I don't.
But they were zines and super, easy drawing, like really cool, but really good. And we were in Quimby's, and they have a collected hardcover of his works. They were the
wow.
things that we were printing at Kinko's at 2 in the morning, and I'm like, whoa! And that kind of thing can lead to other things. So I get that, and it's a lot easier to produce a zine than it is to produce an entire animated short, whether it's 5 minutes or an hour.
Yeah.
Well,
Ooh, an
yeah,
We
hour.
have time restraints. That's
Yes,
right.
time
Yeah.
and money restraints
Well,
too.
yeah,
It gets very
yeah,
expensive.
yeah.
Whereas producing a zine, it's more the time restraint than anything. So I get that. That's cool. Okay, we're going to talk about more of that later off mic. Real quick, we're talking animators. Let's talk two things. Spit them out.
Okay.
Who you think are the best animators working today? And you can either say studio or person individually. Like if you said, oh yeah, it's, I love Carl Biggins on this. Okay, you guys know who that is. Or if you said, you know what, I like what Blue Sky is doing, or I like what so-and-so's doing. What's the best animation going on right now? And conversely with artists. Who are the artists that inspire you?
I know, well, Glen Keane. I know. I really like his
Yeah.
duet because it was still hand drawn, and I think it's available on iTunes. No, it's for the iPhones. I have a Samsung, so I don't. Yeah, it's on iPhone. Like I guess it was meant to be viewed on like the new iPhones, where it's like if you're viewing it, like you can really see the depth of the.
Oh, really?
animation.
And it's
Yeah.
called Duet?
It's called Duet by
look it
Glen
up.
Keane. Yes.
Glen Keane. Okay.
Beautiful.
That's one.
So she
Now,
is
that
in-
is the artist that inspires you, or the studio artist?
That is the artist.
That
and
is the
then
artist.
He worked for Disney, worked in a lot of films. He's a big name in
Right.
animation, especially Disney. And then he went off on his own. Well, I think Google hired him just to do that. They said, here you go, create something. We're done.
No, don't worry about it.
She pretty much just answered for
Yeah,
all of us.
exactly.
I mean,
Really?
yeah,
That's
yeah,
the
that's
one,
the
huh?
top guy.
the-
Did you guys hear that? So Glen Keane is the one. We all need to see Duet on our iPhones, and if you don't have one, go out and buy one.
I think
In
it's
terms
on
of the
YouTube
highest
still
artistry,
right
just
now.
amazing.
I think it is on
Really?
YouTube.
Yes.
You can see it, but it was created
When
for
you
like
see it, you'll know.
There's
It's amazing.
there's another podcast I listened to his interview, the Bancroft brothers, where he was explaining in
Are there
detail
3 of
about
those
it.
guys too? Is
Two,
that
there's
yeah?
two.
Okay.
They are twins,
Celina's got to
so-
find her way into that one too. When they're going, you're not one of the brothers. You're like, you know what? It's plus one.
I'm their adopted sister. But they have their podcast. They interviewed him, and he explained like how he created it. You know, he had left Disney because he wanted to work on his own stuff. I believe it was Google. I might be mistaken about that, but I'm pretty sure it was Google who said,
Okay.
"Here, create whatever you want, and we're gonna put it on." You know, it's going to be meant for like it's a free thing for the iPhone. You know.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
and then.
All right. Ooh,
absolutely
that's a
beautiful.
good recommendation. As an animation guy, I'm freaking out. I want to see this because
Yeah.
I don't know this one.
It's beautiful.
Oh.
Absolutely beautiful. Yeah.
Just Google Glen Keane.
Yes.
Yeah, Glen Keane.
Yeah,
That's
just-
And just
enough.
stuff will just come
Look
up,
at
yeah.
everything. You're gonna just everything.
Type in,
he's
go
ever-
into YouTube, type in Glen Keane
Animation, just-
pencil tests.
Oh.
Pencil to.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Oh, look
You're
at
in for a
this.
treat.
We got
Oh,
some
and Beauty and the
fangirling going on
Beast.
over here. Wow.
Yeah.
All right. So, last thing, because we're out of time. Once again, they can find your work at your Etsy shop, and you're on there too.
I'm on Society6 and Redbubble.com. Yeah.
Okay, Society 6 and Redbubble. And what do they look for you there?
Society6.com/Celina Barajas, and then Redbubble.com/people/Celina Barajas. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
And we're on Facebook. It's the Art of Catherine and Sarah Satrun on Facebook. So we'll post links, and every now and then we do coupon sales for coupon codes for Etsy store. We just had one finished yesterday actually.
All right. All right.
And sketchyduo.com.
Sketchyduo.com. Last thing that I'm going to plug for you guys. Go to the Comic Cons, go to Artist Alley, and find these 3 and buy stuff. Because I love it.
Yeah.
They have great stuff. If you're a fan of, the Doctor Who print, this is the Doctor Who stuff with Little Amelia. The Baymax as a nurse. If you're a superhero fan, if you just women empowerment stuff, My Little Pony, it's all really great art to decorate anywhere. You know, a lot of people go like, oh, it's great for a kid's room. I would put this in my living room. No question. So thank you guys. This was a real pleasure to have you out here.
Happy to be here.
Thank you, Satrun Twins, +1, plus Celina. Thanks a lot, you guys.